Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. Disney princesses have been the heart of the House of Mouse since the 1930s. Snow White paved the way for other exciting new royals to follow, each with their own stories and problems. From Rapunzel to our favorite Ice Queen Elsa, all of them have unique qualities that make them interesting to watch. That's why we love them so much. The stories are so well known that they're just a part of our culture now. Where there's Disney news, there are fan theories that dive deep into the depths of each movie and ask some intriguing questions. We like to get down to the nitty-gritty, come up with theories of our own, and follow one another's. Join us as we take a look at Disney princess theories ranked from possible to shut up and take my money. Captain Hook and Ariel's mom. Ariel is one of the OG Disney princesses, dating way back to when us millennials were watching Disney flicks and playing with dolls all day. I mean, not me personally. Well, maybe me sometimes. Anyway, moving on. Fans took an instant shine to Ariel because she just wanted to walk on land and fall in love with a prince. Is that really so much to ask for? Plus, we knew that her mom wasn't around anymore, which made her a little more endearing. It wasn't until The Little Mermaid 3 that we learned that Queen Athena's life ended during a pirate attack. We never saw who it was on the boat though. Now, in Peter Pan, we see mermaids that look similar to the ones in The Little Mermaid. Could that just be a coincidence? Sure, but what if they were to hint at something more sinister? Some theorists are adamant that Captain Hook is responsible for Queen Athena's passing. The scheming pirate never mentions her, but it's still entirely possible. In the Disney Channel series Jake and the Neverland Pirates, Hook hates the mermaids with a passion. What's to say he couldn't take it too far? It certainly wouldn't be out of character. This is a dude that spends his life hunting down a group of children, so a mermaid would be nothing. It could make for an interesting crossover in the future if Disney decides to dive further into the depths of Ariel's story. Maleficent is related to Aurora. Dun 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 dun. We're throwing it back to Sleeping Beauty here. We're discounting the live-action Maleficent, which many fans consider contradictory to the 1959 movie. Despite what Angelina Jolie would have you believe, a legion of fans insists that Maleficent is related to the royal family she tormented. Why? Well, when the Bad Fairy shows up to Aurora's christening, the Queen refers to her as Your Excellency. This is usually a title reserved for royalty, or those related to royalty by birth or by marriage. One Redditor thinks that Maleficent was never King Stephan's lover like the latest movie would have you think, but instead it's his scorned sister. There could have been one heck of a fallout or a battle over the throne. If Maleficent felt like she should have been the ruler, she could have turned to dark magic in order to claim it. When that didn't work, maybe she resorted to going after the child for revenge instead. If we follow the love triangle theory, then Mal could have been Stephan's beau at one point in time, but then he palmed her off for the eventual queen, which is why she's got a hankering for revenge. What do you think? Too wicked to be true? There's also another story out there that paints the three good fairies, Flora, Fauna, and Merryweather, in a bad light. Why would they keep Aurora safe for 16 years only to bring her back on the very same day the Wicked Fairy said that she would meet her fate? Seems a little suspicious, doesn't it? Alice's trippy journey. Okay, we know Alice isn't a princess, but neither is Mulan if you want to get technical about it. She's still one of the most beloved Disney characters of all time, and for good reason. Alice is an innocent and curious young girl that ends up on a magical journey when she spots a rabbit running for a very important date. In the 50s, The Colorful Adventure was just that. It was a fun story that kept the kids entertained. But was there a deeper meaning that no one realized? When the youngster falls down the rabbit hole in pursuit of the white rabbit, she's suddenly transported into all sorts of peculiar scenarios. One moment she's small, the next she's incredibly large, there's a tea party, a queen that cuts off heads, and Tweedledee and Tweedledum. It's not exactly a giant leap for people to assume that author Lewis Carroll was writing a story that wasn't a fairy tale. Instead, he was recounting hallucinations he had heard about. Carroll himself wasn't a drug user from what history tells us, but that doesn't mean that he didn't get his ideas from other sources. Think about it. There are mushrooms and a caterpillar that's sitting on a cloud, not to mention a Mad Hatter who was, well, truly out of his mind. Alice also sways between having a good trip and a very bad trip, which would be in keeping with this idea. Jasmine's family tree. Oh man, this one is juicy. It's also a little complicated, so we're gonna need you to prick up those ears and stop multitasking for just a minute. In Disney movies, we don't see a lot that focus on generations past, right? It's usually just the two main characters and maybe a hint of mom and dad thrown in for good measure. It doesn't go much further than that. But one very knowledgeable storyteller called Commander shared their story on fanfiction.net. Quite frankly, it blew our minds. Are you ready? According to this Uber fan, Aladdin and Jasmine flee to Africa to escape the Crusades in around 1000 AD. Hold that thought, we'll come back to it in just a minute. 500 years later in Europe, Snow White and Prince Bertram have a daughter that they call Annalise. She goes on to become the mother of Sleeping Beauty's Aurora. Aurora ties the knot with England's Prince Philip, and then their grandson marries Cinderella. Still with us? Good. Cinderella's son becomes Prince Adam from the Beauty and the Beast. Belle and the Beast spawn another son who weds Eric and Ariel's daughter, Melody. Fast forward a few generations and Melody's descendants go to America where they end up colliding with Al and Jasmine's bloodline. Prince Naveen is born. Naveen becomes the husband of Tiana and the Princess and the Frog. There you have it, a Disney family tree that connects Jasmine and Aladdin to a whole host of Disney royalty. Of course, it doesn't cover every princess in existence, but it could make a lot of sense. We don't just want this to be true, we need this one to be true. Ariel found the Arendelle wreck. This one goes back to everything being connected in some way or another. It's pretty much a given that every Disney movie could be part of the same weird world, if you listen to hardcore fans anyway. Remember in The Little Mermaid when Ariel is busy looking through a shipwreck for keepsakes? She finds some cool stuff before being chased out of there by a shark, but it's the ship itself that made us think twice. Looking at it now, it seems strikingly familiar. After Frozen, fans started looking back at the Disney canon and piecing things together from all over the place to understand Elsa's heritage. Some think that the ship Ariel was exploring was the sunken boat that the King and Queen of Arendelle were on when they got caught in a storm. It does look similar, that's for sure. But could it really be true? This is Disney and anything is possible. So don't go ruling it out just yet. It's not completely batty to think that they had to sail past Atlantica to get to wherever they were going. If there can be mermaids, then there can be coincidences. It's a shame Ariel isn't a mermaid anymore, since Elsa's ice magic keeps taking her out toward the ocean. If you've seen the trailer for Frozen 2, then you'll know the sea seems to play a part in the next adventure. Tarzan is Elsa and Anna's brother. We know that Anna and Elsa's parents supposedly met a watery end while on a voyage. It was one of the key parts of Frozen, as it led to the sisters being divided for much of their youth. No longer able to control her emotions, Elsa stayed away from Anna for fear of hurting her. However, we didn't really get to see a whole lot of what actually happened to the King and the Queen. There was a short clip with some stormy seas and lightning, but other than that, there was nothing. When it comes to Frozen, this one is one of the biggest points of debate among fans. Everyone just wants to know what happened, okay? A ton of people believe that Anna and Elsa's parents didn't sink with the ship, but instead were washed ashore on a mysterious island. The Queen could have been pregnant at the time and gave birth to everyone's favorite tree swinging champ, Tarzan. That would make Tarzan Anna and Elsa's little brother. We totally dig this theory. It's fantastic in more ways than one. Even one of the co-directors of Frozen said that this was entirely true in his mind. How much better can you get than that? That's all the proof we need on that one. Snow White's Angel. Disney is meant to be all sunshine and rainbows most of the time, right? Apart from when Mufasa fell off a cliff, or Bambi lost his mom, or Dumbo. Well, same. In any case, there's always a good outcome in the story, even if it sometimes gets a little dark. Snow White is Disney's first full-length feature. It introduced us to the alabaster-skinned princess that could sing like a lark and managed to escape her evil stepmother. But what if her stepmom wasn't the only big bad on the scene? This theory gets a little dark, which is what makes it so brilliant. One superfan called Matt Morgan has a dark idea that the prince is actually the angel of the hereafter. He also has some convincing evidence to back his theory up. When Snow White first encounters her future husband, he's leaning over a very deep well. That's dangerous, right? Just ask Lassie. What if the prince was lurking around, waiting for her to fall in and meet her maker? Snow then sends the handsome chap a dove, which according to Morgan foreshadows her soul leaving her body. Yowza. To get in one final kicker. When the prince gives Snow White the kiss that wakes her up, he's really giving her the chance to say goodbye. And she bids farewell to the dwarves before he takes her off to the other side. Talk about traumatic. Elsa and Rapunzel are related. Out of all the Disney theories that we've covered today, this one holds the most weight. Every now and then, characters from different movies make cameos in other movies, right? When Elsa was busy getting crowned as Queen of Arendelle, die-hard Disney fans spotted Rapunzel and her husband Eugene. Instantly, scores of us started to think about why she would be there, enjoying the festivities. Some people believe that Rapunzel is the cousin of Elsa and Anna. They believe that the sisters' parents were on their way to her wedding when they perished at sea. Others take it a step further and say that Rapunzel is Elsa's twin sister, and the two were separated at birth for reasons that we don't know yet. It makes us insanely excited to think that this may be true. If this were the basis of the second movie, we'd beat you to the movie theater quicker than you could say, "Yoo-hoo, big summer blowout." If neither theory is true, here's hoping that Disney pulls together some kind of confirmed connection between the movies. You hear that, Disney? We all need this. Wow, we bet you're never gonna watch these movies in the same way again, are you? Yeah, us either. What do you think? Are we completely out of line for ruining your childhood? Or are these ideas kind of genius? Let us know in the comments down below.